Welcome back to the channel, guys. So today we're going to be building trees. So I did some before and they were very basic, quick and easy. This time I'm going into a little bit more detail. So please, if you like, please subscribe, like and leave comments below. So this time I decided that I was going to try using wire wool. The stuff that I've got here, very fibrous. It's not like a brill pad or anything like that. It's very fibrous and easy to sort of drag and shape into whatever forms that you're after. I would say this would be actually quite a handy one if you wanted to make sort of explosions like smoke and that sort of thing as well. But for today I was going for trees. So I was also going to use two different methods of trunks as well. So on the one hand we've got skewers, just the sort of thing you'd buy from a food shop basically, just a wooden skewer. And the other, I went out and I picked up some sticks and I've been drying them over the last few days, weeks, just building up until I actually did the project. So what I did with the stick itself is I coated it in PVA just because as sticks dry out they will start to chip and fall apart a little bit more. So I coated it in PVA just to give it that bit of support. And then literally first time doing it, I decided I would try wrapping the wire wool around the trunk, and then that didn't work so well, so then I started pulling down from the top. Both options are doable. Probably if at this stage you use like a spray on sticky glue, that might be more beneficial than using PVA, but both options work. And then I found just kind of shape them into rough tree shapes. I then stuck extra glue around the base, just so that way it would hold it in place and it wouldn't slide down in due course. Then for the skewer, again, I coated it in PVA, this time not so that it would stop it from flaking, but just so that as the wire wool was on there, it would have more glue to stick to, and just pushed it straight through from the top. Obviously a skewer is going to be easier to skewer the wire, as you would imagine, rather than the stick. But I actually, when all said and done, preferred using the sticks. They might not last as long, but as long as you're careful with your scenery, they should last long enough. And they're free, so if they do come apart in due course, you can easily replace them with something else, which is equally free. Yeah, it's quite interesting to see how these trees went together. So I was pleasantly surprised. Let's put it that way. You can kind of see the rough outline, a few different layers within it. No need for armatures, just stick them straight on. So next up, I did have the spray glue, and so I coated the tree, the wool, whatever, what have you, with the spray glue first. I gave it a good healthy coating. You can see that it goes white once it's covered in glue, so that makes it easier for you to be able to figure out when it's covered. And it's quite important, I find, to do top down and bottom up, just to make sure you get all the different areas, because you don't want the wire showing later. Now I was doing an experiment. So this first layer is dill, just dill that you would buy from the shops. It was quite cheap, it was like $2 for the pots, so it wasn't too much of an expense just for a trial. And it really came out, in my opinion, really nicely. I mean, not only do you have a really nice smell, every time I walk past my trees now, it's like, ooh, I get hungry. But just because of the way the dill is, it kind of looks like needles. Yeah, I think it came out very nicely. And I mean, it sticks onto the wire wool and the glue very well. So I would recommend it. I mean, I'm going to try and do at some point just the difference between buying, I don't know, 500 grams of dill versus 500 grams of flocking material and see which one's actually cheaper. But definitely, if you're in need of flocking and you don't have time to wait, go to the store and get some dill, and you won't be missing out. It does a good job. So yeah, I did find that a little bit of the dill would stick on the trunk, so just be careful of that when spraying. And I would definitely recommend using gloves. Yeah, my fingers got very sticky, and now about a week later, yeah, I've still got some of the glue sort of stuck to areas of my fingers, which it still doesn't want to come off. So this is the second tree, the one which used the actual branch from the tree. And again, we're going over it this time just with plain flocking. There's a bit of dill which went into my flocking material from some of the other trees, but so this one's a predominantly foam flock mix. But again, exactly the same sort of application as before. With my flocks, I start off using it just straight, but then very quickly I just kind of mix everything in together, and I don't know, I quite like the result that I've built up to. It's got bits of dill, it's got bits of static grass, it's got bits of all sorts mixed into it, a few small stones here and there. So overall for basing, I think it's much better than just the straight up flock that you would buy, but each to their own. So next up, I sprayed them with PVA, watered down, and then set them outside in the sun to dry. And then that's our outcome. So the one on the left is just flock, the one on the right is using dill. I think they came out really quite nicely. And they were cheap, quick, and they look great on the tabletop. So that's with 28mm, you can see that they're a good size. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this one, guys. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.